All right, everybody, it's Aster YGO here with Nick and Lucas, who both did pretty well at the Montreal Regional.
Yeah,
Nick,
I did. Yeah, I did.
Nick came 7th overall.
Nice little top 8.
And what deck were you guys playing?
The branded
Brave deck.
Brave Adventure Edge Imp good deck pile.
The deck's crazy.
Yeah, the deck was actually insane. Like our list was crazy. People are playing like something like
Close?
I guess so, but like most people are playing like their lists were way different. And they, I don't know, they played like more hand traps and stuff like that, but it just wasn't necessary. And their extra deck, they were missing cards that were probably pretty important.
All right, how many were in the main?
44.
44 in the main. I
You
would
could like get it down to 40 to 42.
Yeah, that's another thing. You can get it definitely lower. People were saying like it's super tight and they want to play like 46, 47 and stuff. You can realistically probably get it down to 4. I don't know. I think I'd probably play like minimum. I think I'm probably like 42, maybe 43. Yeah. But like, you definitely don't need like 46, 47 cards.
No.
Alrighty, well let's get into the profile here.
Beautiful. All right, so the best engine in the deck. This is the first time I've ever played these cards. I didn't want to buy them. And these are actually the dumbest cards. Like they're way too good. Yeah, these cards are crazy. We maxed out on it. There's so many people that are like playing 2 and 2.
They're playing post ban list.
Yeah, it's like they're playing like they're cutting these cards because they're like, oh, the deck space is too tight. But these are literally the best cards in your deck. So I don't understand. But no, they were all great all day. I never wanted less copies.
They can be branded fusion by themselves because of Verite.
Yeah, I was gonna say because most people just think they're like a negate before your branded fusion, and like that comes up sometimes. There was so many times today where they would just turn into Verite, or even like just like you'd search, you'd activate your right, get Faithful, make a token, and you'd like get Griffin Rider and Draco back in hand, and then you would just normal a guy and you'd turn them into Verite, and you'd keep these for the follow up. So then like, your Mirror Jade, you're not killing you through Mirror Jade. So then whatever they are able to set up, you just play these back into them, and they can't beat you. So these are all really good. Like I would never play less of those. I would never even like take it Foolish out. I saw people decide it Foolish or take it Foolish, and I thought maybe you could at the start of the weekend. Like for sure, like that engine's crazy.
For sure not.
This is like maybe, like this engine is like also too crazy. 3 chain, 2 patchwork, 2 poly.
I'd almost play 3 patchwork.
Yeah, we thought about it, or like we were thinking about playing the 3rd patchwork. I don't think you need to see it because there are hands where like I bricked like some of the only brick hands I had in the tournament were like you would draw like multiples of this and this, and like when you don't have you don't have a Despia name, like it makes these cards harder to play with. But so I thought about maybe playing like more copies of Despia names just because it would turn this and like say tragedy into this would turn this and tragedy into a starter, or this plus tragedy into a starter to get to your Luber. But the idea behind like the ratios, you'd rather see this card than see this card because
this is the best discard in your deck.
Yeah, like if you like, there's like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of times where I would just normal and link it off for Verite. But the reason we played 3-2-2 is because if you see this card, you'll send this card, it adds Patchwork, and then Patchwork adds this, and then you're still left with these. So then on the following turn, when you get rid of the chain, you search another Patchwork, and then you search both copies. So you never need the 3rd Patchwork because it's better. You get everything out of your deck. You never need to see. You'd rather see chain over Patchwork because it gets them all out of your deck.
The only reason to play a 3rd Patchwork is one, so you see it more, and the 3rd chain can search the last Patchwork for another discard.
Yeah. So.
But like chain, you definitely play 3.
Yeah, because it's like you could play the 3rd of this, but like the extra copy they discarded, it's like it could come up, but I didn't miss the 3rd Patchwork at all today. Like I saw the cards enough. I definitely wouldn't play less chains. We started with 2 chain, and I would never play less. The 3 was crazy.
Favorite wrapper.
Yeah, this card is nice. This card,
this card sucks. This card's terrible.
Okay.
It's comedically bad.
Okay, this guy, he hated it. I thought this card was crazy all day. I think you could like as like the format progresses, you could definitely cut it, but at least for like the tournament, a lot of people like still didn't really know what these cards did. So like they would just like play really hard into comedy and just like didn't realize that it had text.
That card sucks.
So this card was really good for me all day.
It sucked for me all day.
Yeah,
I played too many mirrors, and comedy was the worst card.
Yeah, it's not great in the mirror, but every other time it was really good. Because there's so many times where if you already have access to your tragedy, and you've used your tragedy already, you'll just send comedy because then you just can't get like. Because people just like play this deck, like they play it like really aggressively, and they aren't very conservative with it, and they play it like super hard into hand traps. And this card just lets you so you don't lose to like things like Availer or Infirm or anything like that. And you can play around Bell because people think you lose really hard to Bell. So, oh, and this card's actually insane with the Patchwork engine.
I've
It lets
loved it,
you,
yeah.
it lets you. That's like one of the ways you play around Bell is where you'll use your Mirror Jade to set the branded in red, and then you'll use Poly and fuse this off on your own turn to make your Mirror Jade live. That way, if they bell your branded red that you're going to set, you still have your Mirror Jade live, and then you can still trigger this a second time, and you get 2 banishes on their turn. So that was really good.
Like,
Yeah, then we played like maxed out on all this stuff. So like 3 opening, 3 fusion, 3 red.
some people play 2 red.
Some people play 2. I think there was maybe a couple times like going second, I would side one out. But I don't regret playing 3. I think 3 was
It's
good.
also really good in the mirror. Just have the
Yeah.
extra copy for the grind.
Yeah.
I played so many mirrors.
Also, because like I was saying today, there was like or yesterday or earlier, there were so many games where I wouldn't start with Brand Fusion. I would literally just play Verte and the Mirror Jade control. That just having this, since your Albaz is staying engraved when you go for the Verte line, just setting this and then using the Mirror Jade on their turn. And if you hard draw this card, since you aren't going to use your Mirror Jade on turn 1, if you hard draw this card in that play, you'll set the branded red. You use a Mirror Jade banish on their turn, sending Albion. And then you add back Albaz on their turn, and you get a second Mirror Jade banish because you'll make a second copy of Mirror Jade. You make a second copy of Mirror Jade, and then you can send another card from your extra deck that does something. So I think 3 was good. These were the worst.
These cards are crazy.
These were the worst cards in my deck.
He thinks comedy's good. I think these cards are good.
I don't know. The problem is like this card you're searching as like your like 5th target. Like most of the time, a lot of times I was searching like second copies of branded red, so I could use one on my turn and then use one on their turn before I was searching this card. And it makes your bad hands worse, and it makes your good hands like you should already win the games anyway. The Mercurier effect, I think I used it twice all day, but it came up one time where I like hit like against Striker, I hit like a Ray coming back, but I was probably winning that game anyway. And then the branded lost. It's neat, but like. People are like, oh, they can't bell my branded red, but like you can play around the bell already. So I don't know.
I think
Maybe
the cards were crazy.
they weren't.
I played a lot of mirrors and they were really good in the mirror. Like I'd search branded lost.
It felt like it was good. Like when I drew branded loss, I was like, oh, neat. They can't do anything, but it didn't feel necessary. But I don't know. I wouldn't like 100% cut them, but I don't care. They were fine. I mean, whatever. 2 Albaz.
You have to play.
Yeah, you have to play 2. We played 1 at the start. We ended up playing the second, but there's, like I said, there's many times where you'll play Verte. So if you play the 1, if this gets stuck in grave or anything like that, you can't really play, and your branded fusions aren't live anymore. As well as going second, sometimes it's not even a terrible draw because you can just normal it and
Try
to play. Like if they end on anything, you can normal this and get into your own like engine. So I think 2 is really good. It's always also nice when you go for the Verte line, like I was saying with Brandon Red, to have one engraved. Because you can go for like double Mirror Jades and things like that, or not double Mirror Jade, but like Mirror Jade once on their turn and then Mirror Jade again on their turn with a second copy. And then these cards,
a good one,
one Called by, one Snow. Some people were cutting this.
Snow's crazy.
Yeah, it was really good.
All day, it was great.
Because this is like the better, like the
Best light. It's the only light target you main.
It was the best one to like send because it was also neat that you could play around. Like again, people like.
You can play around Imperm and Veiler and stuff by just, like
banishing your Albion or your Lubellions, you'll activate it, and like if you don't have access to Comedy, you can use the Snow to banish the card after they try to Imperm or Veiler your Lubellion. It's also really good. Like it came up against like the Brave decks, where you could like normal Snow and like force cards out, like force out Griffin Rider and stuff like that. So this card was really good. There was also a lot of times where you just draw it in your opening hand, and then like you would send it for your Faithful or your branded opening. And then it became an interruption on their turn. And then the only going second cards we played were
we landed on
3 Ash and 3 Drop.
We landed on 3 Ashes or only hand drop.
Yeah, because like we really didn't want to play the hand traps. We didn't think they were all that like great.
And Ashes are like good into like branded fusion and stuff. Trades with Enchantress, trades with branded fusion. It's like good enough. Like I'm not trying to stop them from comboing.
Yeah.
But like interrupt something.
Yeah, your deck's good enough at breaking boards that you don't like need to like just them to not combo on you. So it was more that like since you're playing so many grind games with this deck, that this like past turn 1 trading 1 for 1, or since you're playing control all the time with the Mirror Jade, using Mirror Jade and then having Ash after that was really strong. And the only reason we played it is because we decided that we didn't want to just every single time Branded Fusion was activated against us, we would just like accept that it was resolving. So yeah, it was fine. It's 44. I'd probably, at least for like the next couple weeks or so, I'd probably not play Branded Lost or Mercurier. I'd maybe consider playing a third Tragedy because with the patchwork, it ends up being a starter because you can search a Luber.
I wouldn't play Comedy.
He'd cut Comedy, but I don't know. You could maybe cut Comedy or any of those other cards. You're doing the extra deck. Extra deck, this is standard, 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Lubellion. This should be standard. Some people play 2, that's insane.
Albion's the best. You're sending it every time.
Yeah, you send it almost every turn. The third one comes up all the time.
And sometimes you
you summon it, yeah. Especially when, like I said, for Verte lines where your Albaz is engraved. So yeah, I would never play less than 3.
Yeah.
This was the other target we sent, Sprint. So there's an argument. We played Titanic Cloud originally because apparently you can like OTK with it. We never summoned this card. It's just made for its second effect.
It's also just kind of there for contact C.
Yeah, if they contact you, you can summon it technically, but never came up. Its second effect is more relevant, that you can summon the Albaz.
Or add it.
Yeah, or add it or whatever. So, like I was saying, there's lines where if you hard draw Branded Red and like a Brave Engine, where you go for Verte, you'll banish one on their turn by sending Albion, and then you'll fuse off with Branded Red by adding back the Albaz, make another Mirror Jade, and then you send another copy of it, like this one during the end phase. So then during the end phase, it doesn't like, they probably aren't killing you, but if they end on anything, you're summoning Albaz and fusing off their guy, and then you're using Albion to set Branded Fusion the next turn.
And sometimes you like layer your end phase effects with these guys.
Mm-hmm. So they're really good.
Yeah.
2 Masquerade. This card was like overperformed today.
Masquerade's crazy. Everybody hates Masquerade when you put it on the board against them because they just have to like pay so many life points for everything. Six.
It honestly never came up where I needed the second one, but I liked having the option to have the 2.
I made double Masquerade like 2 or 3 times, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, like in theory it could come up a lot, but like it never came up where I needed the second.
And sometimes if you see like double poly and stuff, you can end on like Mirror Jade, Branded, and Red double Masquerade.
Yeah, it was good. I wouldn't probably cut the second one, but Dragos Depelia.
It's a negate.
It's a negate. I felt like I was gonna make this more than I did, but when it came up, it was still really good. 2 Chimera.
It's kind of just standard.
Yeah, like I think in theory it's good to have the 2 because going second, you want to try to like make this card, especially when you're playing the polys and stuff. You want to make this into their board and resolve it, and then still have the second copy for their turn to stop them playing. But I don't know. This card was like, I thought it was gonna be way better than it was.
It was good in the mirror.
Yeah, I resolved it like twice the entire tournament. And
It's kind of just really big in the mirror. Also.
Yeah, I saw a lot of like cool plays where like people were like like a hard activating poly, and then like especially in the Griffin Rider to use that one as like one on field.
Yeah, like it's again, like, it's really crazy if it resolved. I just only had it resolved twice, and like most of the time I was just going for like Mirror Jades and just thought my Mirror Jade was just like better in a lot of scenarios. Mirror Jade or even like this card or Masquerade. But this card's like it's good. It just didn't come up in as much as I thought, and I didn't think like it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And then the only 2 links, but these cards were great. This was like insane.
Verte's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
It just summons Mirror Jade.
Yeah, because like just the fact that your Brave engine also gets you into like your actual engine with like the Branded Fusion and Mirror Jade and stuff, makes this card like because of this card was really good. Like I said, I barely drew Branded Fusion today. I was literally just making Beartail like at least like once to twice around. So side deck. So 3 Crow. We were like kind of scared of Scythe, so we thought like we just wanted more cards for Scythe. We didn't really try to play a bunch of hand traps in the side.
We just want
But,
cards to hit Scythe.
Yeah, that one could hit Scythe.
But it also like it
Hypothetically.
can hit Branded in red. It can hit DP. It can hit just a bunch of different cards.
Yeah, it came up once for me. I played against Ogdotic, like hand loop. That deck was scary, but it came up once where I like DD crowed his Saferd after he used its effect to add like the baby dragons, and then he passed. So Crow was kind of nice. And also I started against Striker and hit an Anchor once, and that was really good. This card was really good.
World.
I almost didn't play it. Like I almost didn't want to play it. You said we should play it.
And then I convinced him like the hour before we went to bed.
Yeah, and it was actually crazy for me today. Like
That card's really good.
I only saw it like twice all day, but I played against Tri Brigade, and just having it in my deck, I actually did it. I bricked, but I had this card, and
He's hard
he
activated
couldn't play
sometimes.
he couldn't play for multiple turns. But yeah.
Rule's just kind of an auto win into like certain matchups.
Yeah, or against like Dragon Link decks or
Flunder.
like Flunder specifically was the reason we played it.
Yeah.
But that didn't come up today. But like the Tri Brigade deck, like, it's free
And the
against
Dragon
that.
deck.
Yeah, and Dragons. So this is really good. I'm glad we played it.
That's probably the best card in the side right here.
Yeah, this is like the best card in our side deck. We started this in
Almost every time going first.
yeah. If we were going first, it was coming in a lot, or even going second in the mirror. Mirror, prank kid, stuff like that.
Because like, if you're drawing 2, your deck is just a crazy amount of just power spells. So any cards you draw are insane.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking at their hand, you've already won because that means your hand's crazy. So you're ripping their best card and they lose.
Yeah. This card,
And the stealing effect barely comes up.
I was say this card overperformed. Like there was an argument to main it. We were maining it up until a few days ago. We just felt like there wasn't space. We didn't want to go higher, like I said, than 44, and we just felt the other cards were better. But this card was really good. Also, like hypothetically against like Scythe decks, like having the talents is kind of irrelevant when you go second. So siding it was fine. And then pre-Cosmic, 3 Storm. I never saw this all day, but I played against a few different trap decks and never saw it. So,
But in theory, it's good.
Yeah, we wanted kind of cards that were good against, like we could side in against
Multiple
Flunder and multiple matchups. Yeah,
Like, because Flunder was terrifying.
yeah, we were really scared of the Flunder deck. We know that, like, we were scared that there was like no way to out it. Like we were gonna be normaling monsters, but like all of our normals were gonna trigger map and they were gonna rise and bounce it, and we didn't really have a way to break it outside of droplets.
So we just wanted, like... Counts is really... The steal effect comes up in the Flunder matchup, because you can just steal their M-pin, attack their statue, and break the board.
So we were siding in like a bunch with like Flunder.
This.
But
We had a bunch of outs.
we never played Flunder, so it didn't actually matter. And then this card, again, hypothetically, was going to hit Scythe or Trap decks or whatever.
Or it's not terrible into Flunder, you just hit the field spell of
Yeah.
the trap.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't play any less than these cards. I played against a decent amount of trap decks, and none of them felt like even really that great today. The Brave engine just dealing with the trap cards is usually good
Draco
enough.
back's crazy.
Yeah. So,
OTS Super Draco back, please.
Do you think there were any like weak points in your deck that you noticed over the weekend?
Not drawing Branded Fusion.
yeah, but like,
Because like
honestly,
I played a bunch of mirrors, he didn't play a bunch of mirrors. But if they see Branded Fusion and you don't, or
And
like
you're
even a
playing
turn or
Garrett,
two before you see it, it is very hard to win.
yeah. The other problem is
They just
like,
out advantage you and out resource you.
these were the only 2 cards I might have not played, but
would play
you
them
liked
100%.
them. I found they
I
were
was
like,
searching Lost with a Luber. Like if I had Branded Fusion and access, if I knew I could get access to red, I just searched Lost and it was crazy.
the problem is like if you already had like if you had your Branded Fusion already and you're using a Luber to search this, was like it wasn't stopping Ash on Branded Fusion. It was only dealing with like Valor, Imperm, or Gamma on Lubellion.
Well, it doesn't stop those.
No, but I just mean like no, because like, he's on the summon.
yeah.
Yeah. So like Valor, Imperm on Lubellion. Which Comedy was already doing anyway, so like I never felt like I needed to search this. Most of those hands where I was able to like I already have my Branded Fusion, I would have I could send Comedy to Grave to play around those cards, and then just I'd use like if I had the extra like already had Branded Fusion, I had a Luber, I was searching Branded Red, so I didn't have to aggressively use my Mirror Jade to like play into Bell.
I love the cards.
So I never needed these. That's what I would say maybe the only change I would make. You wouldn't play Comedy. I thought Comedy was just better
I
than this card.
hated Comedy. He was comedically bad.
Yeah, and then this was the last card. Like we sided.
We had 14 cards.
We had these 14 decided on that we wanted for like multiple different matchups, and we kind of came down to we had one like last spot on our side. So we played this. Hypothetically, it should be really good in the mirror. Maybe going second into Prank Kids, but we decided to just play it just so we had a better matchup in the mirror. Just because
Yeah, like-
if we had it and they didn't, it was probably good.
I played against 4 mirrors and
Did this card ever matter?
And invoked Branded, so like 4.5 mirrors.
Did this card ever matter for you in the game?
Yeah,
I was
like
gonna say.
I sent game 2 and 3. I sided in. I sent it almost every time, cause like it was just free resources. Like even if I didn't want to summon her, I could discard her and then add her back.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like infinite discards.
Also, since we were playing the Lost for the event, like
You can search
you
it.
can search it as well, which is nice. But I don't know. You probably don't need to play this card.
You definitely don't, but it's kind of nice. I
It was,
like
it was nice to have it. Like I'm saying, I probably wouldn't change too much personally. I probably wouldn't play these cards. You wouldn't play Comedy, but that was really it. And I'd maybe consider
I'd maybe cut Ash.
a third Patchwork. Yeah, Ash wasn't as good as we thought it would be. Well, like, but it wasn't like bad.
It wasn't bad, but like
We just
you
like
could
that
probably slim down the deck and play some other cards.
we just like that
cut
you were
Ash.
playing. We were playing like such a control-based deck that like just having the Ash trading 1-for-1 was a
Yeah.
lot of the time good enough. But I probably wouldn't wouldn't change a ton.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And I got some shout outs though. We got tons of shout outs because we probably owned about 20 cards of these. We both played the same deck card for card, and we probably owned about 15%, 20
Yeah.
like 20%
Yeah,
of
we
the
borrowed
deck.
everything else.
We borrowed like literally the entire deck for the weekend. Started throwing it about a week ago, so we got a bunch of shout outs we gotta drop out here. So shout out Ben, you got hero. Shout out our guy Mike.
Shout out our camera guy, Marcus.
Yeah, shout out our camera guy Marcus for letting us borrow cards. Shout out Ray. He also got an invite, finished 15, he was almost there. But he like literally started teaching me the deck like a week ago. And then let us borrow a bunch of cards too. Shout out Nolan. Shout out Devin. Shout out Simon.
Shout out
and
Raul.
then yeah, but like huge shout out to Raul
Raul.
because he literally gave us almost an entire copy.
He
of
probably
one of the
gave
decks.
us like $800 worth of cards.
Yeah, so shout out to everyone that let us borrow cards. And then shout out Critical Hit. Best locals in Durham. You know?
Yeah.
That place is nice, so shout out to Critical Hit. Check out Critical Hit in Curtis. Thursday night locals. But yeah,
That's
that's
it.
about it.
Alrighty, thanks guys, and good job on your tournament standings.